Seniors over 60, top 10 seeds for stronger joints and muscles. Have you ever heard someone say, "You're just getting old, so stop expecting to feel strong again"? Or maybe you've been told that once your joints start to ache and your muscles feel weak, there's no turning back. Well, let me tell you, I completely disagree. In fact, I believe that aging doesn't have to mean losing your strength or your independence. But hey, not everyone agrees with me. There are still so many people who think it's too late to make a change after 60. Some folks even think that seeds, yes, tiny little seeds, couldn't possibly make a real difference in your life. They say, how could something so small help me walk better, move easier, or feel stronger? Well, today we're here to challenge those doubts head-on. Because the truth is, what you eat can either speed up aging or help you stay active and vibrant for decades longer. And seeds, they might just be the most overlooked powerhouse in your kitchen. So before we jump into all the surprising ways these seeds can help you build stronger joints and muscles, I have a quick favor to ask. If you care about your health or have a loved one who needs this information, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel. It gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more honest, science-based health tips every single week. Stay tuned, because I promise, some of these seeds will surprise you, and by the end of this video, you'll never look at that tiny sprinkle on your salad the same way again. Ready? Let's get started. Why seeds? The science behind nature's tiny warriors. If you look at any traditional culture, you'll see seeds have always been part of daily life. Our ancestors might not have had scientific studies, but they knew these tiny foods were powerful. Scientifically, seeds are concentrated packages of life. They hold vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and special plant compounds meant to grow an entire new plant. For seniors, two major problems, chronic inflammation and muscle loss, slowly steal strength and independence. Seeds, with their antioxidants, anti-inflammatory nutrients, and high-quality protein, directly fight both. I've spent over 30 years studying aging, and the healthiest older patients I've met, those still gardening or hiking in their 80s, all eat seeds regularly. Science supports this. A Harvard study showed that seniors who eat seeds and nuts often have up to 35% lower risk of frailty and fewer mobility issues. Another large study found these people also maintain stronger bones and better balance. From my own experience as a doctor in my 60s, I noticed my joints and energy changing. Adding hemp and sesame seeds to my meals gave me better recovery, steadier balance, and fewer random aches. I've seen it work in my patients too, like Mrs. Allen, who went from struggling with stairs to playing piano for her grandkids after including seeds in her diet. I want you to think. What would your life look like if your body felt stronger? Would you walk more, dance again, travel, or play with your family? Seeds are simple, affordable, and powerful tools, not trends. Have you tried adding them yet? Which ones do you like, or which one would you start with? Share in the comments. I read every story. As someone who treats seniors daily and lives these changes myself, I can tell you, it's never too late to give your body the support it deserves. Seeds may be small, but they can help you feel strong, steady, and confident again. Now let's dive into the top 10 seeds that can truly transform your joints and muscles, helping you feel stronger, steadier, and more confident every single day. Seed number 10, pumpkin seeds. Mrs. Allen, the piano teacher I mentioned, started adding pumpkin seeds to her morning yogurt, and within 3 months had fewer night cramps, better balance, and stronger hands for playing piano again. Pumpkin seeds are packed with magnesium, a mineral needed for over 300 body functions like muscle contractions and nerve signals, and most seniors are low in it without realizing. This deficiency often shows up as cramps, spasms, and fatigue. Pumpkin seeds also contain zinc, important for immunity and tissue repair, which helps wounds heal faster. I always recommend using raw or lightly toasted seeds to protect nutrients, and pairing them with vitamin C foods to boost zinc absorption. Research shows seniors with higher magnesium intake have stronger muscles and fewer falls. I started adding pumpkin seeds to my oatmeal at age 60 and felt less leg heaviness and better recovery after yard work. As an older adult myself, I understand how frustrating those random cramps and weak legs feel. I often ask my patients, do you wake up with painful cramps? Do your legs feel tired after a short walk? If so, have you tried something as simple as adding pumpkin seeds? It's an easy, affordable step that can bring real change. Have you eaten pumpkin seeds before? How do you like them? Share your experience in the comments. I read them all. Small habits like this can help you feel stronger and more confident sooner than you think. Seed number 9, sunflower seeds. Mr. George, 68, a retired firefighter, told me he felt like his muscles were tearing apart even after simple walks. We added just a tablespoon of sunflower seeds to his daily salad. And within a month, his recovery and strength improved so much he felt confident walking farther again. Sunflower seeds are packed with vitamin E, a strong antioxidant that protects muscle fibers from damage, which matters more as we age and lose natural defenses. They also contain selenium, crucial for muscle repair and reducing inflammation that can make arthritis worse. A study in the Journal of Nutrition showed seniors with higher vitamin E intake had stronger muscles and fewer mobility problems. I started adding sunflower seeds to my lunch in my 60s and felt less muscle soreness after long work days. As an older adult, I know how discouraging it is when muscles feel weak after small tasks. I ask my patients, do your muscles feel sore after short activities? Have you tried something simple like sunflower seeds? They're an easy, affordable way to support muscle health and stay active. Do you already eat sunflower seeds? How do you enjoy them? Share in the comments. I love reading your stories. Small steps like this can help keep you strong and independent longer. Seed number 8, sesame seeds. Think of sesame seeds as tiny powerhouses loaded with calcium, magnesium, and zinc, the perfect trio for bone health. My patient Mrs. Kim, 74, loved baking, so we swapped her white bread toppings for a sesame seed crust. And over 2 years, her bone density improved. She fell less and felt more confident on stairs. Sesame seeds also have lignans, antioxidants that help calm joint inflammation, which is huge for seniors struggling with stiffness. Research shows higher calcium and magnesium intake lowers fracture risk, and zinc supports balance and bone repair. From my own experience, adding ground sesame seeds to my meals in my 60s helped my knees feel stronger and made standing up easier. Whole sesame seeds often pass through undigested, so grinding them or using tahini is best. I always ask my patients, do stairs make your knees ache? Do you worry about falling? Have you tried sesame seeds? They're simple and affordable and can truly help you feel steadier and stronger. Do you eat them already? How do you like to use them? Share in the comments. I read every story, and these small changes can build a stronger, more confident you. Seed number 7, hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are a rare plant-based source of complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids, making them great for maintaining muscle as we age. Mr. Liu, an 82-year-old Thai Chi instructor, stayed surprisingly strong into his 80s and credited his daily hemp seed smoothies for keeping him flexible and steady. Their balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fats helps lower inflammation, keep joints lubricated, and support faster muscle recovery. Studies show seniors with higher omega-3 intake lose less muscle and have better joint health. In my 60s, I started adding hemp seeds to my breakfast and felt less stiff in the mornings and more energetic during long work days. You don't need to grind them, just sprinkle on oatmeal or yogurt, and pairing them with lemon juice or berries helps absorb more iron. I always ask my patients, do you feel stiff or weak after simple tasks? Have you tried hemp seeds? They're easy to add and mild in taste. Do you already use them? How do you like to eat them? Share in the comments. I read them all, and these small daily choices can help you feel stronger and more confident at any age. Seed number 6, flax seeds. Flax seeds, also called linseed, are one of my top picks for women after menopause because their natural phytoestrogens help slow bone loss. My patient Mrs. Rosa, 70, had early signs of osteoporosis, and after she started adding freshly ground flax seeds to her smoothies and soups, her bone scans stopped declining and even started stabilizing. Flax seeds are also great for gut health and help control blood sugar, which is vital for seniors trying to avoid type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance. Research shows that higher intake of plant-based omega-3s, like those in flax, is linked to better bone mineral density and fewer fractures in older adults. From my own experience in my 60s, I noticed less joint stiffness and more steady energy when I added ground flax to my breakfast. It's important to always grind them fresh since whole seeds pass through without giving you those valuable omega-3s. I always ask my patients, have you had a bone scan lately? Do you feel your balance getting worse? Have you tried flax seeds? They're easy to mix into many foods and can make a big difference over time. Do you use them already? How do you like to add them? Tell me in the comments. I love reading your stories. Little steps like this can keep your bones and energy strong no matter your age. Seed number 5, chia seeds. Mr. Sam, 77, loved hiking, but after knee surgery, he struggled with stiffness and fatigue. I suggested he start adding soaked chia seeds every day, and in just 6 weeks his endurance improved and he felt steadier and more confident on the trails. Chia seeds are tiny but loaded with calcium, magnesium, and plant-based omega-3s, all essential for keeping bones strong and joints flexible. Their high fiber content also helps regulate blood sugar and prevents sudden energy crashes, which is so important for seniors who want to stay active without feeling drained. Research shows that older adults who get enough omega-3s and fiber maintain better mobility and balance as they age. When I started using chia seeds in my 60s, I noticed fewer afternoon slumps and steadier energy throughout long workdays. You have to soak them first so they form a gel, making them easier to digest and better for nutrient absorption. I always ask my patients, do you feel wobbly or low on energy after simple activities? Have you tried chia seeds? They're easy to add to yogurt, smoothies, or even water. Do you use them already? How do you enjoy them? Share your ideas in the comments. I love reading your stories. Adding something this small can help you feel stronger and more stable, no matter your age. Seed number 4, fenugreek seeds. Fenugreek is often overlooked in Western diets, but I've seen firsthand how powerful it can be for seniors. In my practice, fenugreek tea has helped many patients regain their appetite and rebuild muscle, especially after illness or long periods of inactivity. Mr. Ahmed, 79, was underweight and struggling with sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle. By drinking fenugreek tea daily and adding soaked seeds to his soups, he gained healthy weight and dramatically improved his strength and balance. Fenugreek contains unique saponins and antioxidants that help reduce joint discomfort and make movements feel smoother and more confident. Research shows that older adults who maintain better appetite and muscle mass have a lower risk of falls and hospitalizations. When I started using fenugreek in my 60s, I noticed less morning stiffness and better digestion, which also helped me feel more energized throughout the day. You can boil the seeds to make tea or soak them overnight and add them to meals. I always ask my patients, have you struggled with low appetite or unintentional weight loss? Do your joints feel stiff and make you hesitant to move? Have you tried fenugreek? It's simple, affordable, and might surprise you. Do you already use it? How do you like to prepare it? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every story. Tiny changes like this can help you feel stronger, steadier, and more in control of your health. Seed number 3, poppy seeds. Don't let their pastry reputation fool you. Poppy seeds are loaded with calcium, zinc, and linoleic acid, which helps keep joints lubricated and bones strong. Mrs. Petra, 75, struggled with brittle bones and frequent falls, but after adding poppy seeds with steamed kale or spinach, her calcium retention improved, and she felt more confident walking without fear of falling. Research shows that seniors who get enough calcium and healthy fats like linoleic acid have stronger bones and better balance. From my own experience in my 60s, adding poppy seeds to my meals helped me feel steadier on my feet and reduced that shaky feeling when standing up quickly. Always make sure to use culinary-grade poppy seeds, not ornamental ones, to stay safe. I ask my patients all the time, have you felt unsteady on your feet or afraid of falling? Have you considered poppy seeds? They're easy to sprinkle on oatmeal, yogurt, or veggies, and they have a mild nutty flavor. Do you already use them? How do you enjoy them? Share in the comments. I love reading your stories. Small changes like this can help you feel more stable and confident every day. Seed number 2, sprouted pumpkin seeds. Sprouting pumpkin seeds boosts their mineral bioavailability, lowers anti-nutrients like phytic acid, and increases antioxidant content, making them even more powerful for seniors. Mr. Tanaka, 81, started sprouting pumpkin seeds at home during lockdown and within a few months noticed his balance improve. His steps felt lighter, and he even got excited about going for daily walks again. Research shows that sprouted seeds have higher levels of magnesium and zinc, which are crucial for muscle function and nerve health, and better antioxidant activity that supports joint and bone health. In my 60s, I began adding sprouted pumpkin seeds to my salads and noticed less knee stiffness and better stability when climbing stairs. You can easily sprout them by soaking raw pumpkin seeds in water overnight, then rinsing and letting them rest until tiny sprouts appear. I always ask my patients, do you feel unsteady or afraid of losing your balance? Have you tried sprouting seeds at home? It's simple, affordable, and can make a real difference in how confident you feel moving around. Do you already use sprouted seeds? How do you like to prepare them? Share in the comments. I read every story, and small changes like this can help keep you strong and active for years to come. Seed number 1. Sacha Inchai seeds. Native to the Amazon, Sacha Inchai seeds are possibly the most powerful choice for seniors. Packed with over 60% omega-3, complete proteins, and strong antioxidants that all support muscle repair, joint health, and help fight deep inflammation. Mrs. Gonzalez, a 76-year-old former runner, felt a big boost in energy and less joint pain after adding Sacha Inchai oil to her morning toast. Research shows that omega-3 fatty acids not only improve joint comfort, but also help maintain muscle mass and support brain health, which is critical as we age. I started adding cold-pressed Sacha Inchai oil to my salads in my 60s and noticed smoother joint movement and better focus during long clinic days. It's important to always use cold-pressed oil and avoid heating it so you don't destroy its healthy fats. I often ask my patients, do you wake up with stiff joints or feel your energy fading? Have you tried Sacha Inchai? It's mild, easy to add, and can really help you feel more alive and steady. Do you already use it? How do you enjoy it? Share your experiences in the comments. I love seeing how these small steps change lives. Simple choices like this can help you stay strong, flexible, and sharp at any age. Science meets tradition, bridging the gap. When people ask me if there's a single magic food that can reverse aging, I always say no. But there is a pattern of smart daily choices that make a huge difference, and seeds are one of the most powerful of these choices. Harvard and Stanford studies show that seniors who include nuts and seeds regularly have up to 40% lower risk of frailty, stronger bones, and better mobility. Seeds fill in gaps often left by standard diets, giving us selenium for immune support, lignans for hormone balance and joint health, and plant-based omega-3s for reducing inflammation and protecting cells. Research also shows these nutrients help lower the risk of chronic diseases like heart problems and diabetes, which are major concerns as we age. In my 60s, adding seeds to my meals helped me feel more stable on my feet and reduce the afternoon energy crashes I used to have during long clinic days. I often ask my patients, do you feel like you're losing strength each year? Are you worried about bone fractures or balance? Have you thought about adding seeds as a simple daily step? These tiny foods can play a huge role in how strong and independent you feel. Do you already use seeds? Which ones are your favorites? Share in the comments. I read every story because they inspire me and others. Small, consistent steps like this are what keep us moving and living fully, no matter our age. Common mistakes that ruin the benefits. Many patients unknowingly ruin the benefits of seeds with small but critical mistakes. First, mixing seeds into sugary smoothies sounds healthy but actually isn't. The liquid fructose spikes insulin, disrupts metabolism, and stops your body from fully absorbing minerals like magnesium and zinc. Second, trying to add too many types of seeds at once might feel ambitious, but it overloads digestion, leading to bloating and discomfort, especially in older adults whose digestion slows with age. Third, choosing roasted or salted commercial seeds destroys essential healthy oils and adds too much sodium, which can increase inflammation and harm heart health. Research shows excess sodium is linked to higher blood pressure and weaker bones in seniors. I learned this myself in my 60s when I first started adding seeds. I felt bloated and sluggish because I was using flavored store-bought options and mixing too many at once. Once I simplified to just 1 or 2 plain, raw seeds daily, my digestion improved and my joints felt better. I always ask my patients, do you buy pre-roasted or salted seeds? Have you felt bloated or tired after adding them? Have you checked how much sugar is in that smoothie? It's important to keep things simple and focus on quality over quantity. Do you already use seeds the right way? How do you prepare them? Tell me in the comments. I read every story, and sharing helps others avoid these common mistakes and truly enjoy the full benefits. How to incorporate seeds correctly. The most important thing when adding seeds is consistency, so start with 1 or 2 types per day instead of trying to include everything at once. Pair them with plain yogurt, vegetable soups, or whole fruits rather than juice, since whole foods support better digestion and avoid sugar spikes. Seeds like flax, chia, and sesame should always be ground or soaked to unlock their nutrients and make them easier to digest. It's also smart to rotate which seeds you use every few weeks to keep your meals interesting and to reduce the chance of developing sensitivities. Research shows that seniors who consistently include small amounts of seeds have stronger bones, steadier balance, and better heart health. When I started adding seeds in my 60s, I stuck to ground flax in the morning and chia in the afternoon, and I noticed more stable energy and less joint stiffness throughout the day. I always tell my patients, are you using seeds every day or just once in a while? Do you throw them into sweet smoothies or enjoy them with real whole foods? Have you tried switching them up every month? These simple choices can make a huge difference. Do you already have a favorite way to eat seeds? Which combinations keep you motivated? Share your ideas in the comments. I read them all, and these small daily habits can help you feel stronger and more confident with every year. Beyond seeds, supporting strategies. Seeds create a strong foundation, but for the best results, they need to be combined with other smart daily habits. Regular gentle resistance training using bands or even water bottles helps maintain muscle mass and improve balance, which is key for preventing falls. Daily sun exposure is important for natural vitamin D production, which supports bone health and boosts mood. Managing stress through meditation, deep breathing, or even slow walks in nature helps lower inflammation and improves overall well-being. Hydration is another critical piece. Many seniors don't drink enough water, which can cause fatigue, confusion, and joint stiffness. Studies show that seniors who stay active, get enough vitamin D, and stay hydrated have significantly better mobility and independence. When I hit my 60s, adding short daily resistance exercises and making time for quiet walks completely changed my energy levels and made my joints feel less stiff. I always ask my patients, are you moving your body every day, even if just for a few minutes? Do you spend at least 10-15 minutes in the sun? How is your water intake? Have you noticed how your mood shifts when you don't take care of these basics? Share your routines or struggles in the comments. I read everyone, and your tips might help someone else feel stronger and more motivated. Small, steady steps really do add up and keep us moving confidently at any age. All right, my friends, we've just uncovered the top 10 seeds for stronger joints and muscles, and I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am. If there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this: age is just a number. Your body still listens to you, and every small choice you make today can create a stronger, more confident you tomorrow. These seeds might look tiny, but they carry huge power when it comes to keeping your joints smooth, your muscles strong, and your energy levels steady. I've seen firsthand how these simple changes transformed my patients' lives, and even my own. And I truly believe they can do the same for you. Whether you're climbing stairs without holding the railing, going on long walks again, or finally picking up that hobby you put aside years ago, it all starts with what you choose to put on your plate. So which seed are you most excited to try first? Or maybe you're already using some of them. Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one, and I love seeing your stories and hearing your wins. If you found value in this video, please don't forget to like, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel. Your support keeps us going and helps us bring more honest, science-based health tips to seniors all over the world. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, and remember, your health is your greatest gift. See you in the next video.